Trump's stimulus refund checks just got a big boost overnight. So we're hearing that these stimulus refund checks or Doge dividend checks, it looks like they are getting a whole lot more support and a lot unfolding. And we're hearing that what Doge is uncovering could also be including checks for Social Security as well, not just tax-paying households, as he is becoming increasingly optimistic that what he is about to divulge to the American people with Social Security is unlike anything we have ever seen before. Now, very quickly, let's take a look at the latest so I can share this with you. Now, first, this is the $5,000 Doge stimulus check that is being proposed. We heard that this was proposed by Mr. Fishback, the CEO, who then got the support from Elon Musk, who then got the support from Donald Trump, who then got the support from Congress, which we are hearing is now writing up potential drafts of this in the reconciliation bill that has already been passed. The framework has already been approved, and we're hearing that this is now being written on, and they're saying they believe that this is going to come to fruition. Now, take a look at this overnight. You'll recall the Doge live tracker, and as you guys know, I cite all the sources, so you can go ahead and reference this. This is linked in the description below. The Doge live tracker has jumped from 55 billion up to 105 billion. Essentially, overnight, we're seeing it double. More findings coming out, and I'm going to share with you the details on this. As take a look, it was about $300 per taxpayer. Now it's $652 per taxpayer. And also, here's a link to the savings for the Department of Government Efficiency. You can see a breakdown, and here you can see agency efficiency leaders, and you can see GSA, Department of Education, the EPA, and take a look over here, number 8. We're going to be getting into this in this video. Social Security Administration. And Elon Musk is saying what you are about to see is unlike anything you have ever seen in history regarding federal mismanagement, waste, fraud, and abuse. I'm about to share with you some stuff that is coming out that is unlike anything you have ever seen. It's going to be pretty shocking. Now, take a look at this also. Doge dividend checks has got strong support. It could lure Democratic voters over to the GOP, as we are hearing Republicans and Democrats alike, they are on board for the stimulus checks, the refund checks, the Doge dividend checks, and we're actually hearing that Democratic members of Congress are saying, yes, I am on board. Let's get this out to the American people. Now, we will see. The details of this are still yet to be drawn up, but this proposal came out. It has gotten tons of support, and we are hearing that the increases for these checks are going to be coming. They're saying they're proposing 20% of all Doge clawbacks go to the American people, which means that if Doge is able to hit its goal of $2 trillion, each American tax-paying household would receive a $5,000 dividend refund check from Doge or from Donald Trump. Now, speaking of Social Security and what has been coming out, take a look at this. Now, as I've been sharing with you, Elon Musk has said that he is increasingly optimistic that we're going to be able to put money back into the pockets of beneficiaries for Social Security in addition to tax-paying households. But take a look at what came out over the weekend. Elon Musk has slammed Social Security as a Ponzi scheme, sparking new concerns. Now, I shared this with you. As he said on the Joe Rogan podcast, it is the biggest Ponzi scheme and fraud that you have ever seen. He actually said, I'm afraid to divulge all of the details of what I've discovered because I fear for my life. What I'm about to expose here. Now, take a look. Elon Musk says federal fraud is bigger than the entire defense budget. Now, how could this be? Is this true? He is saying that what they are about to expose is absolutely incredible. The mismanagement, the laundering, all the things taking place. And we're hearing, wait till I share it with you, former people that used to work for the Social Security Administration are claiming there's no fraud. Elon Musk is wrong. He should not do this. He is going to mess things up. And they are saying, watch who you trust regarding Social Security. In fact, I shared with you my last live stream. We heard from Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who literally came out and said, do not believe it. He said, do not believe it when they tell you that there is not fraud taking place or that it's less than 1%. He said those people that formerly used to work for the Social Security Administration, he literally came out and said, don't believe it. I played the video footage for you. Let me know your thoughts. Who do you trust here? Do you trust Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Doge? If so, put a 47. or do you trust the Social Security Administration? If so, put SSA. But we're hearing that Elon is claiming he is going to blow the top off of this. Now, people are saying they want to see proof and they want to know exactly what the fraud is, which he said that he's actually scared to divulge. Well, I'm going to share with you something coming out in the rumor mill here. Now, just going to share this with you. I cannot say this is fact, but this is circulating around something that they are saying is a very significant source of mismanaged funds. Take a look at this coming out on X. This is all over in the past 48 hours. Records are now showing that U.S. Social Security funds, they sent millions of dollars to Ukraine. Man, let me know your thoughts. Now, if this is real, now I'll be the first to say that this is circulating around X. I've not been able to verify any specific sources to this. This is massively just shocking mismanagement of funds going out to Ukraine to source funds for the war. They are saying that there are receipts here of distributions going out that they have divulged, they've discovered for Ukraine. Breaking news coming out. Records now show U.S. Social Security sent millions of dollars to Ukraine. SSA supporting the Ukrainian pensioners. They are saying that this is something that was going on during the Biden administration. Update. Records now show U.S. Social Security sent millions of dollars to Ukraine. Big expose. U.S. Social Security sent millions to Ukraine while Americans suffered. Biden funneled your hard-earned tax dollars to pay Ukrainian pensions while U.S. seniors struggled. Veterans were homeless and families couldn't afford food. The deep. Wow. Let me know your thoughts. Now, like I said, this is circulating around, and if this is in fact true, this is shocking. But I'll be the first to say, okay, this is the rumor mill. We don't have any hard evidence of this yet, but Elon Musk is saying what he is about to share regarding what is going on with Social Security is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. And if this is true, and this is one of those things, well, I'd say that is accurate because, man, can you imagine that all the people that have poured into Social Security and, have poured into it with their taxes all these years and they needed to be here, and then to hear that essentially funds could be getting funneled out to support the war in Ukraine, that would be mind-blowing, absolutely shocking. Now, again, that is if this is real. This is circulating around X, social media platforms, so take it with a grain of salt. I have not been able to find any sources on this, but this is circulating around the rumor mill. Now, if I get any verification on this, I will report it right away. But here on the channel, as you know, I try to do my best to provide all the sources. I pride myself in making sure that there is transparency. You can see the sources, the dates. Rest assured to know that it is the latest. But this is one of the things that's starting to come out. They're saying it might have been used as a fund to send out to Ukraine. Absolutely mind-blowing if that is in fact the case. Let me know. Do you think it is real? Yes or no? And again, I will discredit this in a second, but this is circulating. Do you think that they could have used Social Security funds to help fund the war in Ukraine? Biden doing this under his administration. If you think yes, this probably took place, put a yes. If no, put a no. Let me know. We might be a little bit early here on the exposed of Social Security, but if we are, man, this is without a doubt shocking. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Yes, you think that this is probably real, or no, you don't believe it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also, don't forget, hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Now, like I said, we are hearing two very different sides of the story here regarding Doge, the clawbacks, the funds that could essentially provide stimulus refund checks or Doge dividend checks. We're hearing one side of the story, and then on the other, we have the Social Security Administration. Let me share with you what they are saying right now. Take a look at this. Social Security checks, they're saying, could stop going out by April, says the ex-commissioner. He warns. The former Social Security commissioner said that the system could collapse, causing disruptions in your payments within 30 to 90 days. And take a look at the date on this. This came out yesterday, March the 3rd. He had just come out and he has said Elon Musk is going to wreck the system. He's saying, Elon Musk, keep your hands out of the Social Security Administration systems and businesses because you are going to wreck the system. However, Elon Musk is saying, I'm about to expose the biggest fraud in U.S. history. Again, let me know. Who do you think's telling the truth here? If you think that Elon Musk and Donald Trump and Doge are about to shine light on some pretty shady stuff, put a 47. If you think no, they're actually going to collapse the system, and they're just messing things up. Put SSA. Tell me, who do you think is telling the truth? But take a look at some more articles coming out yesterday. Former Social Security chief warns Musk's meddling could lead to a system collapse. Martin O'Malley, the former Social Security Administration's commissioner, says that Trump and Musk's cuts could lead to an interruption in benefits. And they are referring to the 7,000 jobs that we're hearing are going to be cut from Social Security. They're saying this is going to disrupt everything. Now, also, though, keep in mind, they said there's 57,000 jobs in Social Security. So 7,000 is a little over 10%. So let me know your thoughts. Do you think a 10% cut is going to massively disrupt the entire system? Now, also, Social Security benefits could face an interruption within 30 days. You can see this one coming out today, reiterating what it was that Martin O'Malley had said yesterday. And take a look, though. Social Security coming out and saying, hey, we don't need Doge to come in and do it. We're identifying savings on our own. $800 million of savings have been identified. So we're working to try to work with you guys, but keep Elon Musk out of Social Security. That is what we are hearing from the former commissioner and the administration at this time. But man, let me know your thoughts. A lot going on with Social Security, Doge dividends, stimulus refund checks, and our economy. And we are hearing that Elon Musk is saying that he is actually scared to divulge or push too hard what it is he's discovering behind the scenes, because he's afraid that they're going to try to end his life with what it is that he is about to expose. And like I said, circulating around X right now is that there actually was, during the Biden administration, checks, withdrawals being done from the Social Security Administration to Ukraine with massive amounts of funds going out. Man, let me know your thoughts. And again, that is the rumor mill, though. Once I can verify it, I will be sure to share with you guys right away. So some pretty incredible stuff coming out. And like I said, this is just the beginning. We are nowhere near done with this. And also, we're going to be seeing what happens with the checks. Now, we've got some video footage that has just come out. We're going to be discussing Elon Musk. He said he didn't think that the government fraud would be as bad as it is. He said this is madness. I'm going to share with you the video footage so you can see it for yourself. We're also going to dive into the Doge dividend checks. I've got the Doge live tracker up, also linked in the description. All the sources are cited. Everything is going to be put on the screen. I'm going to read right from it so you can see it for yourself and know that it is the latest as of today, March 4th, 2025. So let's dive right in. But before we do, if you could do me a quick favor, if you appreciate the updates, don't forget, take a quick second and hit that like button for me. That like button just helps spread this out further across the YouTube platform. I appreciate it a ton. Thank you so much. Also, share this out if you know people that you think might be interested in knowing the latest going on. And also, if this is your first time here, subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? But with that being said, let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's play some video footage so you can see it for yourself. What it is we're hearing is coming out as Doge is saying the fraud that they are discovering is massive. And don't forget that as they do this, it is going to equate to a Doge dividend check. The more they discover, the more that goes back into the pockets of the American people. Let's go ahead and play the footage.
Let's talk Doge.
We have 4 years to fundamentally transform our federal government, to cut through the bureaucracy. That's what President Trump campaigned on. 77% of the American public supports a full investigation into federal spending, and there's not a lot of time to waste. So Doge is moving fast, but that's what President Trump wants. And again, that's what the American people want.
Ready for round two, a new mass email hitting the inboxes of federal employees asking them to answer the all-important question, what'd you actually do last week? Workers have until midnight tonight to respond. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth directing his civilian workforce to list 5 things they accomplished and, of course, CC their supervisors. And cue the pearl clutching from Washington's elite, but billionaire hedge fund founder Ray Dalio says drastic times call for drastic measures.
If you don't do it, so you're going to be in trouble. And I can't tell you exactly when it'll come. It's like the heart attack. I can't tell you exactly. You're getting closer. My guess would be 3 years, give or take a year, something like that.
I'm Brian Brenberg, along with my co-host Taylor Riggs, Lydia Hu, and for Dagan McDowell, Jackie DeAngelis, And our guest for the hour, Jason Chaffetz. Welcome to you, sir. Fox Business's Madison Allworth joins us from Capitol Hill with the latest on DOJ's efforts to axe waste. Madison.
Hey, Brian. Yeah, so government employees got another email this past weekend asking them to detail what they did this past week at work. You're noticing a pattern here. It appears that this is now going to become a weekly requirement to make sure that the government employees are aligned with the president and DOJ's agenda, which is to minimize waste and maximize efficiency. And more people are getting on board. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth directing the Pentagon's civilian workforce to comply with this email after initially saying, hold off.
I am now directing each member of the department's civilian workforce, just civilian, to provide those 5 bullets on what they accomplished in their specific jobs last week. It's a simple task, really, as Elon said, as the president recognized in our first cabinet meeting, just a pulse check. Are you there?
So all of this as DOJ leader Elon Musk tells Joe Rogan he didn't anticipate waste, fraud, and abuse within the government to be as bad as it is.
I just want to emphasize the sheer madness of the government. It's just because they have magic money computers that the checks never bounce for the federal government. So you don't have the normal corrective mechanism that you'd have for a company or for an individual. The checks just always clear. The net result is inflation, which is effectively a tax on everyone.
But the good and bad news is, Brian, that Musk says the government was so poorly run that it's easy to make big, meaningful changes right away. Brian?
Madison, thank you very much for that update on DOJ. Jason Chaffetz, you know more about government waste, not because you're a wasteful guy, just because you've worked in the thing before. Yeah. The pushback on Musk has been so fierce, but they're coming back again and again with the next round of emails or the next round of cuts. This is like the rugby scrum, isn't it? Right on do they call it the line of scrimmage? And they're just in there, and who's going to push who back at this point?
It's outrageous. You're going to have to list 5 things you did in a week in order to get your paycheck. Come on, this is a very reasonable, simple, easy thing to do. Let's remember we're $36 trillion in debt. Elon Musk pointed out, that machine over there, the so-called Pam at the Treasury, is spitting out about $1 billion every hour. And Mike Lee posted up something today, Senator Mike Lee from Utah, his discussion with Elon Musk. There's something like 4+ million credit cards, but there's only 2-something million federal employees. So what in the world is
everybody's got 2 credit cards so they can max one and then use the. Is that what's going on?
They're handing them out to contractors, and so everybody should be championing this.
Yeah.
They're not trying to cut Medicare. They're trying to get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse.
And Jackie, so you got Secretary Hegseth now who's saying, look, if you're a civilian in the DOD, you got to respond to the email. He has every right to do that. DOJ may have given him the idea, but he's free to do that or not, and he's saying, I want in on this.
And I think there was a little confusion because we talked about it on Friday, that San Francisco judge's ruling that was talking about how the OPM, Office of Personnel Management, can't necessarily issue a directive of what happens at another agency. So OPM can fire or hire within its own agency. They can't necessarily tell Pete Hegseth what to do at the Department of Defense. But that doesn't mean that Pete Hegseth can't do whatever he wants because he's the boss there. So if he wants people to send an email with 5 points of what have they done, and he wants to cut the bottom 10% like Jack Welch used to do at GE, he is within his freedom to do that. And you know what I learned at jobs throughout my life? If you like the rules, you like them. And if you don't like the rules, you can always leave. Everybody knows where the door is. So I think he's proceeding. I think everybody sort of paused for a moment to try to understand what impact that ruling would have. It doesn't really have any impact at all. They can continue doing what they need to do to keep their agencies efficient and lean.
If you run an executive agency, you should be able to execute your strategy. Right. It's part of the name. Taylor, here's one of my favorite parts of this, and I think you know something about it. You've got the government workforce and the government spending. Then you got all these contractors and outside agencies that work with the government, and they spend gobs of money on projects that make their partners rich.
Billions.
But I don't know what like what America gets for it, that's going to change.
So let me make a joke. We just came off of a segment, right, where we're talking about like brutal transparency with our spouses in the household. If my husband submitted an invoice to me that said consulting services, I would want a more itemized receipt.
Wait.
Let's just say
Your
that.
husband gives you invoices?
No, but if he were, consulting services is not itemized enough.
Right.
Well, guess what? That's what they're doing to the government. Ernst & Young, EY, Booz Allen, a few others are actually meeting with Trump officials because they have, according to this number in the Wall Street Journal, in 2025, the 10 highest paid consulting firms are set to receive $65 billion, and it has not yet been allocated. I'm not saying there's fraud, waste, and abuse there, but I do want a more itemized receipt of what are these consulting services. Sure. Tell me the specifics of the project. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me how much goes to administrative fees versus the actual project. Those are all sort of things. So I like that, again, this is a president who's engaging in the private sector, because we absolutely need the private sector, but it's not just here's $65 billion this year, go have fun on consulting services. Tell me what you're doing, and then we'll allocate money appropriately.
I mean, think about how many years those guys have been doing that consulting and probably getting somewhere around $60 billion a year. And like, has the government gotten any more? I mean, these guys are supposed to make the government more efficient, right? A little more effective.
Can I just say one thing? So in private industry, any company I've ever worked for, if you want to go on a business trip or you need to do something, travel, whatever, you've got to itemize all your expenses, Taylor, to your point, in great detail. I worked at a hedge fund when I was just out of school, where they actually had your corporate card linked to your own. You were on the hook for your corporate card. So if you went off the rails and were doing things you shouldn't have been, and then you submitted it and you didn't get reimbursed for it, you were paying it. They weren't paying it first. So why can't we run these departments and agencies the way private businesses run? Because those are the businesses that are looking to make a profit and looking at the bottom line.
Totally. Lydia, I noticed that the Department of Education is offering some buyouts for workers there, $25,000 buyouts. You can comment on that if you want, but to me, it's part of the larger picture of, look, DOGE can't end a department, but they can shrink it big time, and they're going after it with paychecks to say, why don't you leave if you don't like it here?
Yeah, and $25,000 seems like a really nice cushion, a nice parachute for anybody who wants to take that. I think we're kind of forgetting, you know, some folks, when they're hearing about these layoffs or these terminations or these emails requesting what the 5 things that you did, we're forgetting that we have seen this coming, and that federal workers were given an opportunity to say, I want to resign now. I want to step aside, and I'll take that severance package that would last me through September, and I'm going to pursue something else. Maybe I have a great resume, hopefully built up and from my government service, and I'm going to apply that to the private sector now. Maybe it's a great opportunity to do it. I'm going to take this off ramp. And we're seeing that that is continuing to be deployed at the Education Department. The other thing that I think that, you know, when I was watching Pete Hegseth's statement, his video on X, you know, he was explaining the reason why they're doing this with the 5 things, what you did last week. People have criticized these emails as being patronizing or being, you know, humiliating or whatever. Right. What he's actually doing is just making sure that, are the lights on here? Is anybody home? We want to make sure that you're just paying attention, because there have been issues where we're not sure what is actually happening, and we just need someone to respond and make sure that they're paying attention.
It's
and
a
kind of
productivity check too.
Absolutely.
What are you contributing?
Absolutely. I think that there's nothing wrong with this.
The bigger numbers actually are going to come from not just the consultants, but all of the grants. A lot of the grant money has just been. And if you're an NGO, non-government organization, and you're taking government money, I'm going to argue that you're not actually an NGO. You're not a non-government organization.
So much money goes to these organizations, and it's so far detached from the voters' view of what's happening. And also, it's why when you go down to D.C., it is a city filled with BMWs and Mercedes, and it's got like the highest real estate prices in the country. And the reason is because it's like a siphon. All the money from around the country gets sucked there, and it gets divvied out to lawyers and consultants and bureaucrats, and they enjoy a pretty nice life, Jason.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's great. Homeland Security is perhaps the worst. The money that you see that happened with all this immigration is just going to blow your mind when we get to the bottom of it.
Wow, there you have it, you guys, and that is exactly what we had heard from Elon Musk. He said that it is about to blow your mind what you are about to see divulged as he is saying that he didn't realize it was this bad. He is literally calling it the biggest Ponzi scheme ever. Elon Musk says the federal fraud is bigger than the entire defense budget. Could that actually be true? This coming out today, like I said, in the last 24, 48 hours, we're hearing that the Doge tracker, I'm watching it for you, it has doubled overnight. So we're waiting to see if there's going to be a write-up for $5,000 Doge dividend stimulus refund checks. We're hearing it's going to be 20% of what Doge claws back, and overnight it has jumped to $105 billion. Now, again, this is linked down in the description below, so you can go through this if you'd like. I cite all the sources, put it on the screen, read right from it, and they're showing, as you can see here from the Doge savings, where it's coming from. And you heard them mention the Department of Education getting shrunk, and they are offering buyouts. And SSA, they're saying, might go to the top of the list here. Now, let me ask you this. If you work for the federal government and they offered you a buyout right now, would you take it? If you would, put a 1. If you wouldn't, put a 2. Now, somebody was asking me this question. We were having a conversation, and my thought is this. Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they are on a mission to cut back and to get waste, fraud, and abuse, mismanagement. My thought is if you get offered a buyout, you might want to take it, because right now they're offering you funds to leave, but who knows? The next one might be just leave, no funds to go. Just you're fired. We're going to do cuts. And so if they're offering you a buyout right now with the way that they are aggressively pushing, my thought would be you might want to take it. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Put a 1 if you would take it. Put a 2 if you wouldn't. And also, don't forget to take a second and hit that like button for me. I see we're approaching 6,000 people while we're live. 1,600 likes. If we get half of the room to hit the like button, if you appreciate the updates, helps out the channel a ton. But we're hearing that across the board, regardless of whether you're Republican or Democrat, Doge dividend stimulus refund checks, they are getting support. Take a look at this. Doge dividend checks has strong support and could actually lure Democratic voters to the GOP. They are saying that everybody is getting behind this. Let's take a look at this very briefly here. A new poll shows strong public approval for a proposed Doge dividend check. People across the board are saying, yes, this is our money. This is our funds. We sent it as a taxpayer to the federal government. We need them to manage it correctly. We're discovering massive mismanagement. If you're clawing it back, take a portion of it, just 20%, give it back to the American people. Put it back in their pockets. This is not a stimulus check. This is not new spending. This is money that already went out, and we're just putting it back into people's pockets. A potential one-time payment to tax-paying households that would be funded through cost savings from the Department of Government Efficiency. A poll finds that 7 out of 10 Americans support the Doge dividend checks. The survey conducted by JL Partners on February 24th and 25th among 1,001 registered voters found that there was an overwhelming cross-party support, with 67% of Americans backing the proposal and 46% strongly supporting it. Notably, 1 in 4 Democrats and almost half of independents say receiving the dividends will make them more likely to vote for Republican congressional candidates, the poll found. So even Democrats and independents saying, yes, I will go over to the right, to Donald Trump, to Elon Musk, if they are going to claw back, clean up, and then redistribute funds back into the pockets of the American people. While the Doge dividend check is still conceptual, the JL Partners poll, which has a margin of error of about 3.4%, is one of the first to assess voters' sentiment towards the Doge dividend checks. And the results may buttress President Donald Trump's support for the checks even more. Bipartisan support for a Doge dividend check. Support for a Doge dividend check is bipartisan. Scarlett McGuire, director of JL Partners, said there is clear cross-party support for the Doge dividend, with even Democrats strongly in favor of this idea. Americans believe that it would make citizens more likely to report first-hand examples of government waste and fraud. So they're saying, hey, if you work in a group where you are getting access to a federal government agency and you are seeing mismanagement of taxpayer funds, this is more likely going to cause people to report it, which will then add to the Doge savings, which will then increase those checks. Now, it says while 83% of Republicans surveyed favored the plan, 58% of Democrats who responded also approved as well. Participants identified as independents largely aligned with this sentiment, with 61% approval, demonstrating broad appeal across the political spectrum. Support within the poll also cut across all income categories too, and across white and blue-collar workers. When asked how receiving a Doge dividend check would make them feel, the most common response given was happy, relieved, and excited. The idea that federal government could fund direct payments by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse appears to resonate with the public. A majority, 56%, also said receiving the check would increase their trust in the government. Now, another poll by the Napolitan News Service of 1,000 registered voters found that 59% support returning 20% of Doge savings to Americans. Republicans overwhelmingly support this, while Democrats are evenly divided. Napolitan said that in a statement obtained by Center Square, a conservative news website. In many ways, bipartisan support for a government payment doesn't come as a surprise. During the pandemic, despite polarization about many policies, sending an additional stimulus check had strong support among Americans of both parties, with 82% of Democrats and 64% of Republicans favoring another stimulus check, according to a 2020 Franklin Templeton Gallup Economics of Recovery study. Doge dividend checks could draw voters to the Republican side. Perhaps most notably, 24% of Democrats and 29% of independents said receiving the checks would make them more likely to vote for a Republican congressional candidate in the upcoming elections, the poll revealed. Furthermore, 20% of those who voted for Kamala Harris in 2024 election said that the Doge dividend check would make them more likely to vote for a Republican congressional candidate in 2026 in those midterm elections. There was some incredulity right after the Doge dividend check proposal was announced. "We don't need it now," said Dana of Westport, Massachusetts, in an interview with Boston CBS affiliates. She said that Trump is trying to bribe people into liking him. And it's like, I don't like him. I'm not going to be bribed into liking him. When we were in the pandemic, the people needed money. Now, what's it for? However, JL Partners poll results implies that the bribe could very well work. 1 in 3 Democrats said they would feel more positively toward Trump if they received the Doge dividend check. Now, let me know your thoughts. Do you feel like this is a bribe? If you think so, put yes. If you think no, put no. Do you feel that this is a bribe where they are trying to get people to like the Republicans, come over to the conservative side, and they're trying to pay people essentially to get them on board? Or do you think, no, this is a cleanup effort, and they are saying these are taxpayer funds, we want to give it back? Let me know your thoughts. James Fishback, the advisor who came up with the concept of the Doge dividend check, suggests that the payments be distributed after Doge finishes its work in July of 2026. So they are saying that they want to give them some time to get these clawbacks and then distribute this out in the middle of next year. If payments are indeed distributed, the poll results indicate that the checks could help boost Trump's favorability right before the midterm elections. So they're saying the timing on this also would be right before elections. Skepticism around the Doge dividend checks remain, though. Despite public enthusiasm for a Doge dividend check, significant skepticism remains. Economists and policy analysts have questioned whether projected savings from the waste reduction would be sufficient to fund such a large-scale payout. The Speaker of the House also threw cold water on the idea of a Doge dividend stimulus check, according to The Hill. Well, look, I mean, politically, that would be great for us. You know, it gives everybody a check, Johnson said. But if you think about our core principle, right? Fiscal responsibility is what we do as conservatives. That's our brand. And we have a $36 trillion federal debt. We have a giant deficit, and we're contending with. I think that we need to pay down the credit card, right? Said Johnson. Additionally, the proposal structure providing payments only to taxpayers likely excludes millions of low-income Americans who do not pay federal income taxes. This raises the concern about the fairness and the potential for unintended consequences, such as disincentivizing workforce participation in the long run. Now, they've done more polls on this, you can see here, but right now we're hearing that there is overwhelming support across the aisles, not just for the voters, but also members of Congress. We're hearing Democrats, Republicans, people in the Senate and the House across the board. They are saying they are on board with the Doge dividend checks. And if you are as well, like I said, drop a 47 in the comments for support for Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Doge, and Doge dividend checks. Now, like I said, let's discuss Social Security, as Elon Musk is saying that what they are discovering, he said he fears for his life to push too hard and to divulge too much, because what they are discovering, he is saying, is the biggest fraud in history. Now, we have had, as I mentioned, former Social Security commissioners come out and combat this. Former workers for the Social Security Administration saying no, less than 1% of all of the distributions are fraud, that we've got this under control, don't mess up the system. Literally having him come out and say, no, this is false. Mike Johnson coming out and saying, do not believe them, what they are saying to you, that what we are discovering is massive, massive fraud, the likes of which we have never seen before. And in fact, I shared with you what's circulating around the rumor mill, as they are saying that some Social Security funds might have even went out to Ukraine. Man, now, like I said, just speculation. This is just the rumor mill. We might be ahead of the game. We'll see what comes out in the news, what is divulged here. But they are saying on X right now, it is circulating on social media that there's proof, there's records coming out saying they were sending out Social Security funds out to Ukraine. So Elon Musk, though, take a look at this. I shared this with you when it came out. Said he's increasingly optimistic that Social Security could be on board for some of these checks. Elon Musk said that Social Security benefits, they could increase as the Department of Government Efficiency continues to investigate the SSA. Social Security benefits are paid monthly, forming the bedrock of income for some 70 million recipients. Doge, spearheaded by Musk, has promised to pursue trillions of dollars in cuts across many programs and departments of the federal government, with a specific focus on uncovering fraud, wasteful spending, including in Social Security. Writing on X, Musk said, "We are increasingly optimistic as the immense waste, fraud are eliminated from Social Security and medical, that there is potential to increase the actual dollars received by citizens and better health care." So let me know your thoughts. Elon Musk is saying what they're about to uncover with Social Security could equate to direct increases in payments received by citizens for Social Security. Now, this comes as Elon Musk called it the biggest Ponzi scheme he has ever seen. Take a look with me. Elon Musk slams Social Security as a Ponzi scheme, sparking new concerns. Elon Musk described Social Security as the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time during an appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, which garnered nearly 8 million views. Progressive lawmakers, including AOC, criticized Musk's claim about Social Security, which they argue targets vulnerable populations. Senator Bernie Sanders refuted Musk's statement, calling them totally outrageous, and emphasized that Social Security has consistently paid eligible Americans for 89 years. A separate advocacy group stated that Social Security is 90% funded for the next 25 years and has not missed a payment in 89 years. However, we're hearing that that could all change this coming from former Social Security directors. Take a look here. Social Security checks could stop going out by April. X-Head warns. Take a look. The former Social Security commissioner said the system could collapse, causing disruptions in payments within 30 to 90 days. So he's saying this is going to happen right now. Now, the article says the former head of the Social Security Administration warns that proposed cuts to the agency could lead to the entire system collapse, disrupting benefits payments to millions of Americans. Ultimately, you're going to see the system collapse, and there will be an interruption of benefits. Martin O'Malley, the former Social Security Commissioner under the Biden administration, told CNBC. I think that will happen within the next 30 to 90 days. Dan Lutzka, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, when will the JFK files be released? Dan, I believe that they should be pretty soon here. I can't remember the exact date, but they gave what was it, like 30 days or 40 days? As soon as it does, though, I'll be sure to let you know. People should start saving now, he urged. O'Malley, a Democrat who served as governor of Maryland from 2007 to 2015, said proposed reductions in funding and staffing from Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency have already created chaos at the agency. Vicky Griffin, thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that a ton. More than 72.5 million Americans rely on Social Security for benefits, with almost 90% of Americans over the age of 65 relying on the program. The program has not missed sending payments in over 80 years of operation. Neither the White House nor SSA immediately responded to a request for a comment from the Daily Beast on O'Malley's remarks. Now, as a part of Musk's government-slashing crusade under Doge, last week the SSA notified workers that it would undergo significant workforce reductions as a part of an agency-wide organizational restructuring, while one anonymous source within the agency told the Associated Press that the system could cut up to 50% of its workforce. SSA has denied this claim, saying in a statement February 28th that it had set a staffing target of 50,000, down from the current level of approximately 57,000. The SSA has offered buyouts to agency employees with a deadline of March 14th before layoffs begin. Doge has also said that it plans to close 45 SSA offices across the country by letting their leases expire. And again, so this goes back to the buyouts. If you are somebody that is being offered a buyout, they're saying it might not be a bad idea to take it, because they're saying regardless, cuts are going to be coming. And again, we're hearing these warnings from the SSA former director saying, you are going to collapse Social Security. The system is going to crumble. He's saying that your payments could be delayed. A lot of people saying, wow, this is a lot of scare tactics and fear mongering. Do you think that that's what this is? Or do you think that he is speaking the truth here? Well, at the same time, Elon Musk is saying, no, what we are discovering, they don't want you to know. They don't want you to see the truth. And he said, I'm actually fearful of sharing what I'm discovering behind closed doors because I think they might try to end my life as I expose what we are discovering. O'Malley predicted a massive political backlash if workers who have paid into the system their entire lives begin to see payments interrupted. People are going to start bringing a lot of heat to members of Congress who have been enabling the destruction of Social Security and the interruption of earned benefits, O'Malley said. Social Security is widely popular among Americans, which has made Republicans' long-standing efforts to revamp the system politically perilous and offer Democrats a cudgel. On Monday, top Senate Democrat, including Senators Chuck Schumer of New York, Patty Murray of Washington, and Ron Wyden of Oregon, held a press conference to denounce the Trump administration and Doge for trying to, quote, destroy the agency. It is hard to believe that the Trump administration wants to cut Social Security, but that's what's happening, Schumer said. We're in a pincer move that shows just what they're up to, he said, noting the agency's plan to fire 7,000 workers and Musk's recent comments decrying the program as a Ponzi scheme. Democrats in the House have also sounded the alarm. The Trump administration is putting Social Security benefits at risk by firing the staff who help beneficiaries and closing down the offices that serve communities across the country, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said in a statement earlier this week. Other changes have rocked the SSA since Trump took office. Michelle King, the agency's acting commissioner, resigned in February after a dispute over Doge's access to sensitive user data. President Trump has tapped FISVR CEO Frank Bisignano as the new commissioner, but the Senate has not yet confirmed him. In the intermittent, Trump has named Leland Dudek, the mid-level career employee at the SSA who was previously placed on leave for cooperating with Doge, as the acting commissioner. So there you have it, you guys. Former Social Security Administration commissioner, saying that there could be disruptions in your checks. There could be a total collapse of Social Security system if Elon Musk doesn't get his hands off of Social Security. There could be interruptions within 30 days. Do you believe him, or do you believe Elon Musk and Donald Trump, who are saying, no, they just don't want you to see the truth behind what they are doing? Man, let me know your thoughts. Again, if you believe Elon Musk and Donald Trump and you support what they're doing, put a 47. If you believe the SSA, put SSA. But we will see what's going to be happening in the next 30 to 60 to 90 days, they're saying, as the warnings are coming out that the Social Security Administration could have massive disruptions, interruptions, paychecks could get messed up. And Elon Musk is saying, well, I'm optimistic that what we're doing is going to help. And in fact, we're going to be bringing potentially increased checks to those collecting Social Security. And as I mentioned, overnight, we're also hearing Doge dividend stimulus checks, refund checks. There is more that is getting pulled back, clawed back, saved by Doge, as overnight we're seeing the Doge dividend live tracker increase. There you see it. It was before under 3%. Now it's up at 5% as they're approaching that goal of $2 trillion, $105 billion in clawbacks. And again, for those of you that are interested in the Doge dividend checks, seeing what could potentially come with these refund checks, these are all linked in the description below. I cite all the sources so you can go ahead and take a look. You can see here the Doge Savings website, where they're also bringing you more information regarding the clawbacks, where they are getting these funds from, the grants, the contracts, the real estate. All of it is right here. I cite all the sources, put it on the screen, read right from it so you can see it for yourself and know that it is the latest. Earl, thank you for the $10 super chat. He says, have at it, Stevie. Thank you. I appreciate that. I will continue to keep you up to date on everything. And if you guys appreciate these updates, don't forget, take a quick second, hit that like button for me. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? And also share this out. And if you want to stay up to date specifically on Social Security and stimulus checks, join me at www.steveramnews.com. Steve Ram, that's my name. SteveRamNews.com. You're going to want to join the newsletter. We're going to have more exclusive information specifically on the stimulus, refund checks, Doge dividend checks, whatever you call them, and Social Security as well coming out from the newsletter. So join me there as well. But hit the like button, subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. And like I said, I cite everything. So I want to make sure that there's full transparency. If I ever share anything, I want to make sure that you can rest assured and know that these are the sources. These are the dates. You can see it for yourself. And also, if I misspeak anything, because I could potentially read something wrong or whatever, I want there to be full transparency. I am human as well. So just want to make sure that everybody can see the sources and follow along with me. Dragoncraft, thank you for the $1 super chat. Appreciate that a ton. I will continue to keep you up to date on everything. But that is the latest, you guys, coming out today, March the 4th, 2025. In addition to that, if you haven't heard, Trump is going to be addressing Congress today at, I believe it's 6 p.m. Central Standard Time or Eastern Standard Time, roughly in about an hour or two. We're going to see Trump in his full address. So I'm going to go ahead and try to see if I can live stream that for you guys as well. So hopefully I'll be able to hop on in a couple of hours. You can join me there as well. But like I said, I'll keep you guys up to date on everything. That is the latest on the overnight boost to Doge dividend refund stimulus checks. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll keep you up to speed on everything, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.